Good everyone, welcome to this video, and today we have a review on the Swedish Starter Pack. This is the last starter pack I have to do. As per usual, all of the starter packs have a more in-depth coverage of the vehicles that are mentioned. The tanks are not there at the moment, they are being worked on, so hopefully by the time, hopefully in the future, I should be able to get most of them done throughout the coming weeks, so I'll be able to link those in the description accordingly. The planes, however, will have been covered, so don't worry about that. They'll be in there. So make sure to check the description if you want a bit more in-depth review of these vehicles. So, as per usual, the Swedish Starter Pack comes with 2 premium vehicles, unlike the US pack, and comes with a weaker premium, 120,000 SL, and of course, well, we have our 2 vehicles to discuss. So, starting us off with the Focker D21. This is a plane that I'm not a particularly big fan of. When I saw it on the dev server, I was like, okay, we've been wanting Fockers for a while now. Surely it should be pretty decent. I mean, 2.0 is a bit of a stretch from what I would consider this plane, but it should be fun. Not really. It's okay, but for a new player, it is not advisable, is all I'm going to say. Its armament is very good, with it being 2 7.7 FN Bradley machine guns, with 1,000 rounds between them, and also having 2 20mm Oerlikon FF cannon, with 60 rounds each. That's where the cast part of this aircraft comes in, is those 20mm cannon. However, a new player isn't necessarily going to know that, and they're not necessarily going to know the new belts to use for that. Additionally, these cannons tend to be pretty sparky, as they are, well, they're pretty much Hispano Mark 1. They certainly act like them. And as a result, you're going to have to consider belts when it comes to this aircraft. Of course, I'm not going to go into another downside of this vehicle, that being its fragile nature, but that's covered in the in-depth review of this aircraft, so please do go take a look at that. It's in the description. And as a result, the fragile nature for this aircraft is not helpful when it's in ground forces. For air battles, it doesn't help it either, but it at least doesn't get, well, I mean, I say that, nowadays you get sniped by, like, AAA from, like, 4 kilometers away. But at least in ground forces, you're not going to have, if there's no anti-aircraft up, you're going to have very little resistance, and that way this plane can do some work. Recommended belts for that job are ground targets. With it having 26mm of penetration, you can top down most tanks that you're going to meet. And as a result, that is a plus point in the Focker's case. Whilst it doesn't carry any bombs or rockets or anything like that, it has those 20mm autocannon to help out in that regard. If you're purely hunting planes though, I would recommend stealth rounds. However, take some time to learn it before you commit to it. If you're not sure, just use Omnipurpose. This will do the job just fine. But as I mentioned though, the plane's performance is not very good. The plane is about on par with an I-16 in terms of performance. And the problem is the I-16s outmaneuver you, outspeed you, and outdive you. It was rated that in real life, pilots of the Fokker were forbidden from dogfighting I-16s for that very purpose. And as a result, that does apply in game. An I-16 will whoop your ass. However, I have to give this plane a plus point though, just for the 20mm cannon, because it's very forgiving armament, even if it's a little bit sparky. But for CAS, it's definitely something you can use. Now we move on to the tank. This is the Stringswagen M41s1. This is an exact duplicate of the S2 in the tech tree. All it has is this little number on the side of the turret, the rear of the tank, and the front of the tank, and also this little Swedish flag. Those are the only differences from what I've been able to find. There might be like a slight turret drive increase on the S2. I can't say I've ever noticed it. And besides, I don't play the S2 anyway because I have this one and it's premium. This tank is relatively good, however it does have a bit of a flaw for a new player. New players tend not to focus on shell types, and I'm saying this because when I started out as a new player, I didn't know the difference between the shell types, so that's why I'm using this as an example. Obviously, 6 years on, I should hope I've learned from that mistake, but still. Your stock round in this tank is, well, there's no other word for it, crap. And as a result, that does mean you're going to struggle. But for those that are looking for something that can at least work in an up tier, this tank can do it. You just need to learn the shell types. What do I mean by that? Well, let's look at the stock round. The stock round has 59mm of penetration. You won't be frontally penning a lot at 2.3 with this shell, especially when you get up tiered. In a down tier you will, but those are few and far between. It's even worse for the APBC, which has a small explosive charge, at just 55mm at 10 meters. Whilst these will do work against lighter vehicles and side armor, your main shell's actually going to be this. Now, for those of you that are new to War Thunder and new to shell types, this might come as a bit of a surprise, because APDS was developed quite late in the war. And that is correct. If I remember rightly, it was a 6-pounder that first got it in 1944. I can't quite remember off the top of my head. But as a result, this shell really makes this tank do some work. Its post-penetration damage is rather pathetic, though, for the caliber of shell, because it's only a 3.7cm round. It's not going to be doing a lot. But it has great muzzle velocity, it's very easy to aim over range, and is very forgiving to a new player. And that's really where this pack starts to come into its effort, because of how good this tank is at just being a APDS slinger. Of course, APDS itself is a controversy, which we can all discuss another time, but that could be a topic for a video if you guys want to see that. But going into the armor's relatively good for a 2.3. The problem is when you get to 3.3, everything can pen this tank. There are some trollish spots like the machine gun port, the driver's hatch, the gun mantlet area, but the gun mantlet even has a weakness just under the turret, or the actual turret face, because this turret ring is only 20mm and everything can go through this, even 50 cal. The side of the tank is even weaker and you'll be cut to pieces by 50 cal. Strangely enough, the rear of the turret is actually thicker than the side, but that helps the tank out just from the rear. I mean, you're not going to get shot in the arse unless someone's absolutely flanked you, but you never know. If someone's shooting a 50 cal and they don't shoot here, you might just have a chance of being able to swing the tank round, or at least swing the turret round, and shoot him in the face. But as I said, though, the mobility on this tank is pretty good, the armor's okay, but it's all about learning the shell types, and for that reason, I have to put this starter pack as... I put it in 3rd place. First place obviously goes to the Russian pack, 2nd place is the French pack, and 3rd place is this pack. Purely because I feel this pack can do a little bit more than the rest that are not mentioned, like the German pack, the American pack, the Japanese pack, the Italian pack especially, because that's in last place. But until China gets gets a pack, which I doubt they'll get anytime soon, Sweden will be staying in 3rd place as far as I'm concerned. If you definitely need a start to Sweden and you don't want to buy the Sav, this is definitely a good pack for you. Not only do you get a plane that can work in ground forces and can do some work in air battles to some extent, and you also get a pretty decent light tank with APS, this ought to be your pack, and I really think you should consider this, especially when it's half off in the upcoming October sale. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video on the Swedish Starter Pack. Obviously, I'm going to be working on the tank reviews. Those are, well, the starter pack tank packs, etc., like tank vehicles and all that. Those are priority. They're going to be worked on as soon as possible. Once I finish with the rest of the vehicles that I need to do, like the BV138, which is coming on Friday, just to let you know, that's when I can really get my arse in gear and get tanks like this reviewed, so then you can have a bit more of an idea of what the packs can do, and maybe you might just consider it for a sale. But anyway, I'll see you all on the next one.